Um, I was gonna say, like, in exploring with like people talking about kinks or people talking about sex, like sex positivity, I think, and promoting, like, healthy discussions and healthy relationships and healthy explorations of like different things people are doing within the bounds of their relationship is one thing. But as a person who, worked with children and children who were taken out of very dangerous situations, like some children were um, sold on the black market. Some children were raped by their parents or their family members, and it was put out online. Being in that world and working in the psych world, there are a lot of things that, we tend to not instantaneously see as an issue that is can be long term wise detrimental, and that comes with things like the porn industry or um, things like, we talk about hypersexuality, but the affects of hypersexuality, and also to the stemming of where it's actually coming from within people, because a lot of the times it's like a trauma response or it's a form of escapism, and you're using bodies and connections, and you're using bodies as a form of connection because you don't have any other reference point to love. And so sex becomes a reference point to love based off of how you first experienced love for a lot of people, right? Love is something that each and every one of us need in order to survive. But if you've been depleted of love and you've only experienced high levels of shame, high levels of guilt or trauma, or your innocence was taken from you in a very destructive or strained way when you were very young, like, again, that starts to change how you formulate human relationships and connections and bonds. A lot of this has to do, it's symptomatic to this, the essence of like mental illness and mental health, but a lot of it also is the fact that we lack the provisional spaces in order to help people and integrate people and like be able to move people forward. A lot of the times our culture just promotes things or says things or denies things, but we don't give people actual solutions, right? We're not actually trying to help people and integrate things. Jason?
So one thing that you said that I really want to talk about is you said that sex has become a um, standard by which we view our relationships, and I think that we have jumped the gun a little bit there because we haven't we've used sex as a um, as a displacement for building trust and vulnerability. We've used it as a crutch. And the very first thing that needs to be created, especially in an intimate relationship, is trust and establishing vulnerability, which builds more trust, which creates more vulnerability. It becomes a trust vulnerability stack. And sex becomes just people think of it as a bypass to that, but it doesn't bypass that at all. All it does is distract from it. And so we need to get back to a place where we are creating opportunities for building trust, establishing vulnerability, to have that trust vulnerability stack. That is what creates a meaningful relationship. It's not sex. It's trust and vulnerability. It's the relating process. It's the understanding that we are human beings and that we interact on a human and emotional level. And the emotions are absolutely necessary in order to sustain a relationship.
And I'm gonna say on that
Desperado.
piece, I'm gonna say on that piece, the options keep people from doing that. The fact that you got multiple people that you talk to, you don't have the time or the patience to build that top connection with that person. So I mean, it's a plus and a minus to me, but the plus the plus is you can be with one person, and you probably don't know, you probably don't feel that bond. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have a certain bond with somebody before you can, take it to the next level and all of that. And that's where I think the multiple people come in. If you have like multiple people, you can kind of choose, you know what I'm saying, a little bit better, and see what fits you the most. You know what I'm saying, and find out what aligned to your life. You know what I'm saying, and that would make you, speed up the process a little more. But if you just deal sometimes with one person, it's like, man, it could take a lot out you. One person could take a lot out you. It really could, if you think about it.
But
But
that's dating. Yeah,
hmm,
that's because that's what I was also gonna say. I was gonna say there's like dating, like courting is supposed to be, this is what is traditional is like you getting to talk to multiple suitors and multiple suitors talking to multiple ladies, but it's not about the physical, right? Dating was meant for you to be able to relate to multiple people and see and buy and see which option is best for you for marriage, right? Like for
right,
longevity, for not for a good time, not for like a mess around time, but for actual longevity. And so when you're dating or when you're courting, it's intentional, and that's the biggest thing is like a lot of people don't know what they want to in dating culture nowadays. A lot of people don't know themselves. They don't know what they want, and they're not really clear. All they know is like, I don't want to be, in a traditional relationship, which is fine. But in that though, they're going to experience, I think it's a fallacy for them not to understand that they're going to experience people being like, so then why are you out here? Go work on yourself, right? Like, because this is something that people want another person, like people are looking for their person. But then there are other people who are like, cool, I'm down to just have fun and like mess around and like figure out, the hard stuff later, as a form of like bypassing, and just also too, like just people doing what they want to do and living their lives as they want to view it accordingly. But dating was supposed to be for us to be able to have multiple options and talk to multiple options and then weigh to see, hey, who is the best husband, right? Like that's literally what our societies were built off of. In Victorian eras before then, women would be courted by multiple suitors, and suitors would be courting multiple young ladies unless they're feeling like this match via their family or social political reasons is going to be the best match and option for them, and then they move forward with that, right? But this also comes with the conversation of like love as well.
that's what I was saying. Honesty prevents all that time being wasted. If somebody just be honest up front, we can move forward. We can get somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It To me, it prevents, like from a male, it prevents you from looking at all these options, because I'm finally talking to somebody that, okay, just putting a self on the table. The previous people wouldn't do that. Now it's like, okay, I'm talking. We having a good conversation. Communication is picking up, and it's like, man, this is what I've been looking for. And if that's what it is, then you don't really see other options. You see what's in front of you, and you finally, I guess, you finally found your match. You see what I'm saying? But if you're not getting that out of a person, that's where those other options come in at. Like, I hear ladies say all the time, uh, I need somebody that can do this. I need somebody that can do that. They don't always have one guy doing everything for them. It don't be happening in the modern day. So uh, they always got a little list, to check my box list. So if a guy check his box, check enough checks off her box, she's done looking. She said, I didn't found my person. I'm into this person now. I'm not entertaining no more options. So it's all a practice. It's all a tryout, and it's all to see what's best for you. I'm not. Remember, coming to America, I'm not out here doing it to spread my royal oats. I'm not trying to spread my royal oats, but at the same time, I gotta find, what's best for me. That's what dating is for. To me, is to find out who's the best option for me. You know, so that's why I got on it.
I think one of the reasons why people go after multiples and they go after this whole mentality of needing to have as many relationships as possible because I'm afraid that I might make the wrong choice and I want to make sure I have all the information necessary because they don't know how to actually have proper interactions. There's something that I talked about last week. I think it was either Tuesday or Thursday. I talked about something called TABER, TABER, and it stands for transparency, autonomy, benefit, empathy, and relationship. And this is the way of being able to create an interaction that everyone goes into with their eyes wide open. This is my intention. This is what I want to. This is what I want to have happen. You have the ability to say yes or no anywhere on the line. The reason why you might want to say yes is because this is how we can both benefit. We're both going to grow from this in this way. And I know that this is something that you've been looking for because as we've been talking, I've been able to connect with you in this way and be able to understand this about you. And I want to be able to build something that's long lasting. So if that is something that you are into, let's go. And having that kind of conversation, I find, especially with younger individuals, people who are under 30 years old, it's impossible. they, they find it so hard to have those kinds of conversations because they haven't developed the skills of being able to persuade, of being able to influence, of being able to be charismatic, of having good conversations, of being open and vulnerable, of building trust. These skills are lacking. And I think if we focus on developing these skills, the need for gotta catch them all mentality would just go away. It would go the way of the dodo. People wouldn't have this need for wanting to have multiple relationships because they'd be focused on what is in front of them. This person kind of matches what I want, but they don't really suit it for me. So I'm going to have to be very open and honest and say, hey, this isn't working for me. We're going to have to cut this short. I really appreciate you, but it's not for me. On to the next one. And do the exact same thing, making sure that the person that you are with has the right connection. Because when I started doing that, I've been with my current wife. I've been married twice. And my current wife I've been with for over 5 years. And I swear to God, it is, first of all, the longest relationship I've ever been in. And second of all, it is the most fulfilling relationship that I've been in. Because I took the time to make sure that she fulfilled everything for me that I needed. And that I was able to be the kind of man that she needed as well. And she let me know that I was. And because we had that kind of interaction, the relationships I had in the past 6 months, a year, 2 years max, and that's including my previous failed marriage, 2.5 years done, and this one 5 years still going strong. And I feel sometimes it feels like it doesn't feel like we've been married for 5 years. It feels like she's still my best friend. And it requires being able to dig much deeper into a relationship and be willing to actually commit to wanting to develop that trust, be vulnerable with your emotions, knowing that they're going to be cared for and that trust is going to be returned. Vulnerability is going to be returned, and how you handle that as well. It's a skill set that is absolutely necessary that I see is sorely lacking. That is what we need to really focus on.
You know, parents in 2024 are not your Heathcliff Huxtable, your Claire Huxtable. You're not getting James Evans and Florida Evans in 2024. That's not happening. You're not getting the Brady Bunch. What you're getting is Cardi B, Offset, Baby. Those are the examples that you are being accessed to fully. Will Smith, Jada Pinkett. That's what you get. The skill set is definitely absent. And because it's absent, they don't know themselves. They don't know how to go into a personal, private space and do the necessary homework to understand what they like, what they don't like, pros, cons, red flags, green flags, things that they can accept, tolerate. They don't understand that. They don't understand the art of conversating, the art of listening, the art of processing what another person is saying to them. They don't know how to build the proper structure that is given to them. Their example of it is Netflix and gossip and red pill content. And when you mix all of that together, not to mention the fact that we still humans and we still got this fleshly desire to want multiple things and multiple people, and we want to experiment and have fun. We're still young. We still have time to just be stupid and do whatever we want. When you got people who's not hitting you on the side of your head and saying no, this is not cute. What you're getting is hot girl summer, live your life, YOLO. Girl, fuck that nigga. He ain't shit anyway. Go get your bag. Go ahead, do you. You'd be surprised at some of the videos that I've seen where the shit is crazy, man. How a person can get on camera and admit to sleeping with a person's father or sleeping with a person's best friend because they wanted to get back. Do you know how emotionally disconnected from yourself you got to be able to move and operate like that? Polyamory to me is just people who are horny that just want to sleep around us with many people as they possibly can before they hit a certain age where they're no longer desirable, and then they finally come to the conclusion that now they want to settle down because all the fun is out the window. Ain't no guy gonna want to sleep with nobody that's 60 years old, um, and then been ran through like that. No one is trying to get married to a guy who has had multiple STDs from laying down with random women at all times of the night and day because of social settings and status, because you had money and you had all of this stuff going on. It's not happening. But you want to live this lifestyle now because you still got the age and you still got the youth on your side, which baffles me because I would always thought, at least for me, you meet the right person, you settle with them, you start the family, so on and so on. I was raised to where, and it took me a long time to get out my own way. I wanted to go back to what you said about dating. Dating is the way that you described it. It's supposed to be that way. I don't care how much it changes. That's how I've always looked at it, and that's how it's always going to be to me. You get to know the person. I'm not talking about